Okay. So I am exporting this in I have created a async thunk function that will return a function that will actually call our API and return the data. So where will this return data received, right? We return the data from this function. So of course this data will be handled somewhere, right? We have got our data and we returned it. If you get an error, we returned it. So where are you going to implement it? So if we go to our test slice, inside our reducers, we can say extra reducers, and we can define a function, and it will take a parameter called builder that will action reducer map builder. You have to pass this as a parameter UILDR builder, and let's create this function here. Okay, where is it? Okay, builder. So now inside this extra reducers, this builder, you can with the help of this builder, you can actually add your asynchronous async thunk functionalities, or if you want to handle any asynchronous actions. So you can say builder.addCase, and you can call that thunk function we exported. Set test API data. Let's import it, and with Async Thunk, it actually gives us API call API life cycles or asynchronous life cycles. That means, in a asynchronous function has 3 life cycles, right? It has the rejected loading life cycle, it has the fulfilled life cycle, and it also has a rejected life cycle. So we can handle all of those life cycles in our star reducer, and we can add case to handle our rejected state, our fulfilled state. So first of all, we are going to handle our loading state. Okay, so let's go to our auth slice, and where is it? Okay, so we're going to say test API dot pending. Where is our auth slice? Okay. Oh, sorry. So okay, we can we can say pending, and we can handle the pending state from here. We can have the state, and we can have the action like your normal reducers, and okay, we have to wrap it up in another. Now we can call that function. So after that, we get the pending state of our test API. That means when the API call is first, we make the API call, this pending state is set up. So we can just say set another state that is loading to initially false. And when the pending state is come, we can say that state dot is loading to, we can set the is loading to true. So now this is loading state will be true when the test API data function is loading or pending. We do not need the action parameter from here. We are not sending any data. So after that, we have handled the pending state, right? We also have to handle the fulfilled state. That means after the API call is complete and we return the data. So we can say builder dot add case dot set test API data dot fulfilled, and we have to take a function. It is going to be a function with parameters. We can say state and action. And after our API call is fulfilled, I want to set the data to our store, right? So let's say state state dot test data equals to action dot payload. So we'll get this return data as action dot payload. And after that, if the action is API call is rejected, we want to handle that also, right? So we are simply returning a rejected value with the error. So after the API call is fulfilled, we also want to set the state to again to false, right? So state dot is loading will be equals to false. Okay, now let's handle the rejected state. At case set test API dot rejected and state dot action. I always forget to take it inside it. Okay. All right. So now we can say that state dot test data is an empty array, and we also want to set the loading state to false. Okay. Okay. False, and let's say we want to console the data we get from our rejected state. Action dot payload. All right. So let's go back to our code again. So we have set up all these functionalities in our with our async thunk. So now we can just simply say dispatch, and what was the name? Set test API data. Okay. So as you can see, we have now simplified the the API calling for if we want to store some data with your API call and your store. If you want to connect those, so you do not have to use async thunk from in everywhere. As I said earlier, you have to understand the scale of your project and your API call. As you can see, for this API call, I did not have to use the async thunk, but I'm just showing you for what is it? I'm just showing you so that you can learn how to make Redux Thunk, create async thunk, and make API calls from it. So okay, so if I go back to our UI again, so let's go to inspect. If we go to Redux, okay, so let's reload again. All right. Okay, so as we can see, we are calling our thunk function, but in our test state, we did not get any data. Okay. So okay, so something wrong happened there. If we go to our console, we can see our success is true, and we also, what is it? Okay. All right, no problem. So let's go to our create async thunk function and console the data after the response is complete. Okay, sorry. So this is the mistake I made. I have to return it at else. Okay. So let's console the data from here. Okay. Let's go to our console. Okay, so as you can see, we are actually getting the data. All right. We are getting the data and we are sending response dot data. Right. Okay, so we got our data, but somehow it is not setting up in the store. Okay, let's console it from our reducer too. So this is the fulfilled state. So let's say console log action dot payload. All right, let's go back to our code again. User async action. Okay, so let me pause the video. All right, so as you can see, I made the mistake. The syntax was error. So in your add case, it is you have to give it as a parameter. I give it as a function. So the first parameter will be the lifecycle state, that is the pending state or the fulfill state, and the second parameter is going to be the function that is going to handle all the actions. That means you can set up your state, you can console log your data or anything. So the first parameter is your full lifecycle state or method, and the second parameter is going to be the function. Okay. So as you can see in our Redux store, we have our test data that has access to all of our data. Okay. So let's go back to our UI and close all of this. All right. Okay.